Cost of living is so high right now. There have been many days where I have just felt that life is unfair for us brand new young families who are kind of struggling just to get our foot in the door with jobs, with finances, with houses, cars, whatever. I saw this short today on YouTube and it made me so mad. It was literally just this little clip of this mom dropping off her 2-month-old little baby at daycare. But the fact that so many moms in America have to drop off their teeny tiny little babies at daycare just so that they can earn a living, like they're not getting to spend that time with their children, that precious time that they're never gonna get back. And I'm sure that if you're a working mom, you probably feel the same way. I know some of you out there like your career, you like working, and if you do, hey, kudos to you, that's great. But I'm guessing there's probably some part of you that wants to spend more time with your children, and I know from talking with bajillions of moms out there, and from reading some of the comments on these videos of moms posting themselves having to give their children up to daycare, I know that moms are suffering because of this. They want to spend time with their kids. Now, what's frustrating is, as a working mom, if you have a career, if you have a good career, it may make sense for you to put a child in daycare. But putting a child in daycare is, let's say, roughly $1,000 per month for one child. If you are working a minimum wage job, and even if you're working full-time, you could be earning $2,000, maybe $3,000 a month from working full-time and not seeing your child as much as you would like to, not nearly as much as you would like to, and yet you're paying about half of that just for that child to be taken care of when you could just as easily be taking care of that child yourself. Not to mention the fact that if you're only earning or netting $1,000 a month because of the childcare costs, why not just look for ways to save that $1,000 in the first place? Now, before I go into some of the things that I like to do to save and cut down on costs, because I really believe that this is a big solution that is very underlooked. I believe that if we could just cut down on some of our living expenses and some of the things that we think we need but don't really need, cut down on some of the new things that we're getting all the time, I really, really believe that there would be no reason for moms to have to go to work in a healthy relationship where one spouse or partner is able to go to work for the family. Now, before I get into that, I just want to acknowledge that this is not the situation for everybody. I know it's not. I know the world is a crazy place. I know there are all sorts of situations out there. I know some moms don't have a partner, they don't have a spouse. And for you guys who are out there, you're working moms and you have a kid or children, plural, my heart goes out to you, because I have known lots of people, my husband included, who have had to do that for a time. And it's hard. It's not easy at all. So my heart goes out to you. This video is specifically for just sparking some ideas of ways that we can cut down on our living expenses so that we can not feel so overwhelmed by the fact that the economy sucks and it is very difficult to live in this environment right now. Just to complain one more time, when you think about the cost of childcare, if you have one child, it might make sense to put them in childcare. But if you have two children, now you're all of a sudden paying $2,000 a month just to have somebody else watch your children while you go and work. And you're getting basically a $2,000 per month pay cut on your paycheck. That to me is just not worth it. So let me just give you a list of some things that I like to do to cut costs. We've decided for us that the childcare thing just isn't going to work. I would not be able to get a job that paid high enough to make it even remotely worth it for us to put our kids in childcare, not to mention the fact that I still have a daughter who's in school, and I have to drop her off and pick her up because she's in a charter school. So I would have to get somebody to do that for me if I were to start working full-time, not to mention the fact that I love being a mom. I have tried doing an online business thing. I've tried writing. I've tried making videos like this. I've tried working for other people with stay-at-home jobs, through advertising or sales or phone calls or whatever. And I have just consistently found that I do not have the time or the consistency to do that, because on one day I might have a lot of time. I might have several hours that I'm able to devote to working for somebody. And the very next day, my kid throws up and the other kid spills orange juice all over the furniture. And then the other kid is pulling out his sister's hair. There's always something going on. It's very chaotic. It's not consistent. I've literally found it impossible to hold any sort of job, remote or in person. Running my own business, I have also found to be impossible because I cannot be consistent with it. I can't be consistently posting things on social media. I can't be consistently monitoring people. I can't be consistently coaching. This here is a hobby that I do about 2 hours per month, sometimes a little bit more if I get a little bit more free time, because hobbies keep me sane. My 2 hours per month to myself keeps me sane. So the reality for us is that I just cannot work. I can't. And that has eaten me inside out because I would love to have some extra spending money that we could take our kids on a cool vacation, go see some national parks, go drive up to Washington, D.C. I don't know. And when we go to Walmart to go get our groceries, it'd be nice to not have to say no to them all the time when they ask me for a new little toy or a box of crayons or whatever. I grew up in a very penny-pinching household, so that kind of gave me a somewhat negative relationship with money. I don't want my kids to grow up that same way. I don't want them to feel constantly restricted, like we are super poor, like we just can't afford anything. I want them to feel rich. I want them to feel abundant, but that does not mean that I have to spend tons of money doing it. Let me give you some of the strategies that I have found super effective. I don't feel restricted, to be completely honest. I don't. I actually love the process of creativity involved in finding cheaper ways of living. So some of the things I do, yard sales, obviously that's a big one, but what I enjoy doing is taking some of our old stuff that we no longer need and selling it for cash, usually on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe one of these days we'll try hosting a yard sale for ourselves. And then that cash is something that me and my kids can go and use Saturday mornings at yard sales, and they can go pick out a fun little toy, something new to keep them entertained. They can go pick out a new book. We can find some new shoes for my toddler whose feet are growing way faster than I can keep up with. Or I can take that cash that I earn selling old furniture and turn it around to purchase new pieces of furniture, also from Facebook Marketplace. So when I say new, I just mean new for us. They are very much used pieces of furniture, but I can purchase them at a very low price because other people are selling them, and we can kind of rotate some of our furniture or, adjust things according to our current needs. I am also definitely one of those people who loves to find free stuff on the side of the road. There was this one time recently, just a few weeks ago, where there was this old bed that had been thrown out on the side of the road. Now, I only have small cars. We don't have trucks or vans or anything like that. So I can't get big things and put them in my car and take them home with me. But this particular bed had several wooden slats that were really poorly nailed together. So I was able to just pull them apart. And I thought that would be a fun project. So I pulled all the slats apart. These wood slats were in really good shape. And I slid them into my car. And since then, I have turned that into a little medicine cabinet type thing, a little wall shelf for our bathroom where we're able to put some of our little bathroom things. And then this behind me, our headboard that we have for our bed is actually made out of those slats as well, which was super fun. I'm not big into woodworking, but the process of learning that and getting, a used sander and getting a jigsaw for super cheap and, just kind of trying to figure out how to piece the things together in a sturdy way and painting it to make it look nice. That was really fun for me, If I were to turn that into some sort of living, go collect stuff on the side of the road and make stuff out of it and sell it, it would immediately kill the joy for me. I just like finding creative solutions to problems that we have around the house for pennies or nothing. It's even more exciting when it doesn't cost anything. The house, we just moved into our first little house. It's not big. It's 800 square foot. If you looked at it, you'd probably be like, Stephanie, I'm so sorry. But I love it. I love every single square inch of it. I love all the projects that we've done with it. When we first moved in, there was a little bit of a leak in the roof, and we'd already contacted somebody to come and fix it and make sure that wasn't going to be causing any issues. But before they got out, we had a massive rainstorm, and we woke up in the middle of the night and found some water dripping out one of our light fixtures, which is obviously a little concerning when you first move into a house. So the next day, I called somebody to come and take a look at it and assess the water damage and quote me on how much it would cost to fix everything up there. The way that he explained everything turned out there really wasn't a lot of water damage. There was basically just some discoloration in the ceiling, but they quoted me at $1,500 to get all that fixed. So I basically took the methods that they had described to me and priced it out myself of how much it would cost for me to get the materials and fix it myself, which was actually something I did know how to do because I had helped my dad to repair and finish some basements growing up. So I knew how to do this work, and I knew I could do it professionally and make it look good. And it was only going to cost me $300. So I felt like I was saving, or making, in a sense, I felt like I was making over $1,000 by just learning this skill. I think that is so big. We have these unexpected costs that come up, and immediately just feels like money is kind of flying out the window, right? I think it's really good when you can. Obviously, some expenses are emergencies, but when you can, slow down, get different cost comparisons, and then remind yourself to get creative and remind yourself to get out of your comfort zone. I know some people don't like doing that kind of work themselves. I know some people don't like building. I know some of you don't like the idea of piecing things together out of wood, which is totally fine, but there could be other creative solutions that you have. Maybe you do have some, you have your dresser that falls apart. You need to purchase a new dresser. If you were to purchase one brand new, it could cost you upwards of $300 or more, depending on what kind of dresser you're getting. Whereas maybe you could sell another old piece of furniture that you don't really need for $50, and then you go onto Facebook Marketplace or go yard sale shopping and you find a dresser that works for you, and you pay $40 for it, and then you've earned $10 and a new dresser. It blows my mind when I find out that my friends have financed their couches when they're living in a rented house. They don't even own it, and yet they're financing their couch, and I know that they're not making that much money. It just blows my mind. One of our couches we got completely for free. Somebody was giving it away off of Facebook Marketplace. You do have to be careful when you do that, obviously. You got to ask about pets and do they smoke in their house or whatnot. I have had to get rid of some stuff because of not asking proper questions through Facebook Marketplace, but I've gotten a ton of free stuff on there and a lot of really well-priced stuff on there as well. So one of our couches we got completely for free. It's in great condition, tiny bit scratched up, but it works great for us. The second couch we got for $60, also off of Facebook Marketplace, no smoke, no issues. And that works perfectly for us. That, like, probably 80% of the furniture that we have in this house was either free and in really good condition or very, very low price because I got it used. I do not see any reason for you to continue working and sending your kid to childcare if all you're working for is extra cash to purchase furniture. If that's the only reason you're working, stop it. Seriously, if you want to be home with your children, just buy used stuff. It's not going to hurt you. It's not, I promise. I promise there is so much good furniture. If I could walk you around our house and show you all the furniture that I've gotten for free, I think you would be shocked. Maybe you would change your mind if you're not into the whole free furniture train. Groceries. Groceries are insanely expensive. I'm actually going to make a whole nother video on groceries because I have some apps and stuff that I use. I'm not an extreme couponer because honestly that takes so much time, and to me it is not worth it. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is I think we have kind of this materialistic society that we live in. We have sort of these expectations of how we need to purchase things and what sorts of experiences we need to have and what kind of clothes we need to have, what kind of food we need to have, and a lot of those expectations, we associate certain things with happiness, and because of that, we spend more and more and more than we need to, way more than we need to, and it does make it very, very difficult to live on a single income. Again, if you are a working mom, you don't have a second person, you don't have a spouse or a partner to support you or to help, then obviously that's not an option, and like I said, I mean, that is extremely hard. I know that's very, very hard. But if you do have the opportunity, if you have another person who is helping take care of the finances, if you have that single income, it is extremely doable to live off of that one income. With 3 kids, we're making it work, and I don't feel limited. That's the biggest thing, is I feel like there are so many ways that you can get creative with your finances, that you can get creative with your spending, that you can cut spending. And I think that you can turn that into a real richness and abundance for yourself and for your kids, and not make it feel like you're restricted, not make your kids feel like they're restricted, but just really make life fun and creative, make it an adventure. Way back when, people didn't have 99% of all the stuff that is available to purchase now. They raised all their own food, and they did Like, they literally spent their entire lives making food and clothes and everything just so they could survive. And we have so many blessings nowadays. We don't have to work all day, every single day, just to eat, just to have clothes on our backs. We do have so many ways that we can get free or thrifted clothes. We will not go naked. You know, even if you really are struggling financially, there's lots of charities out there. There's lots of ways that you can get free stuff, so you will be taken care of. You're gonna live, you're gonna survive. For a family where you've got 3 kids, if you're making $50,000 or more a year, you should be just fine. You know, we really don't need all these things that we think we need. You know, if it's this really fun car, that can wait. I mean, you know that. You know, if it's these brand new toys for your kids, like, help them get involved in it as well. Help them get involved in the process of creativity, thinking of ways to have fun without purchasing lots of new toys. You know, take them out to a nature walk and have them pick up sticks and teach them how to stack them up and turn them into a little house. And I love sending my kids out in the backyard in the mud and the dirt, and they just dig and they build stuff. We found this old pile of bricks that somebody had buried behind our house, because it's a very old house. So somebody had buried all these bricks, and they've been stacking up the bricks and making a little house with it. You know, that was free. Obviously the house wasn't free, but that's free. You know, it's something that they can do for fun. It's entertaining, it's wholesome. Them being out in nature is very uplifting. So I just think that there are so many ways that we can build this abundance and this richness in our lives without needing to focus so much on material goods. And I think that focusing on cutting unnecessary spending is going to help us not feel like we need to give up our 2-month-old little babies to daycare so that we can work, because we can barely survive. So instead of just surviving, let's see if we can thrive instead. I will see you guys in the next video.